Hi, everybody, which is really no one right now, but hopefully we get some people in here. I'm going to go shut my door and get set up here. Decided to go sideways this time, just because of video purposes from last time. So hopefully you're here for some tech help. That's what we're doing today. So let me go shut my door and I'll be right back. All right. Well, hello. Come on in. We are going to do some tech help today. I don't know if you can read it. It might be backwards, not sure. I'm going to get this shared onto, the Facebook channel. Hi, glad you're here. Hopefully you have some questions, technology-wise. If not, sorry, I gotta turn my fan off. If not, we are gonna actually be going over some techie tips today. So let me get this on Facebook. And any kind of questions you have, go ahead and you can put them up. Or wait, and we'll be talking about some other techie type stuff here in a minute. All right, videos. Here we go. And here's our live session. All right, I'm going to turn that volume down. All right. Okay, so I am going to share our link on the Facebook group. And then we will be ready. Here we go. Post. There we go. And I'm going to also share the Tech Talk group into our class today. So there you go. All right, well, come on in. We are ready for some technology time, tech talk help, any kind of computer questions. Let me turn down our volume. Any kind of computer questions that you may have, right now is the time to ask. Normally we offer, here at the library, we offer Tech Talk Technology, which allows you to come into the library typically, and we would be able to go over anything technology-wise that you would like to do. However, with the pandemic, we aren't able to do that. So I thought, well, we'll just go ahead and have some live sessions instead. So you still have that opportunity to come in and ask questions that involve technology. Looks like I've got a couple people out there. If you could just let me know that you can hear me okay, then a thumbs up or what have you, that'd be great. Usually I'm pretty loud, so I don't think that it's going to be an issue. Now, if you have any questions, just go ahead and type them in there and I will ask them or answer them as soon as they come in, as best of my ability. Or we're just going to kind of move on with some techie tips. Something about the internet. Okay. A lot of people don't know the difference between a web browser and a search engine when it comes to the internet. A web browser, which would be Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, or Microsoft Edge, Firefox. Those are all web browsers. And what their job is, and normally we see those, and I can show you here. Let me minimize all this stuff. I'm going to flip us around. And this is what I'm kind of talking about. So there is Firefox, Google Chrome. We've got, this is Microsoft Edge down there. Those are your web browsers. And their job their only job, in all reality, is just to get you connected to the internet. So, sorry, I have to reset up. Okay. So their only job is to get you connected to the internet. So once you're on the internet, now you have what's called search engines. Search engines allow you to search the internet. So a search engine would be Google, Yahoo, Bing, MSN. There's a lot of different search engines out there. So a lot of people don't know that, the differences between those. So the difference would be a web browser gets you connected to the internet. And once you're on the internet, now you can use those search engines to do research or shopping or whatever your leisure is. So that's an internet techie tip for you to, if you didn't know what the differences were between those. Now, when you do use a search engine like Google, Yahoo, Bing, MSN, there's a lot of them. When you do use them, what actually determines, so let's do a search. So I'm going to do it. So that's my little buddy there. So I'm going to go to Google Chrome and I'm going to use that search engine. Okay. And now, or that web browser. I'm sorry. Google Chrome is a web browser. Now I'm in the search engine of Google. So from here, I could type in anything. So let's just type in tractors. Okay. Now, what determines what puts these in the places that they're at is actually how many hits have been put on those. So however many times people have pushed on certain ones is actually the order in which they come through the internet. So if you didn't know that, then now you do. So when you're searching for something, so right now I've got John Deere tractors on here, it immediately pulled up johndeere.com because that one gets the most hits whenever that particular search is put in. So that's what determines the order. Wikipedia is not a good place for you to get research. So if you're looking for some scholarly locations that are factual, one place you could go if you don't know your public library's email is you can always come to ours. And that is Peabody Public Library, which is located in Columbia City, Indiana. And now I can go to the website. So from here, we have, and this is our website here. So we have a tab here called Research. Under the Research, we have all online resources. And in here, we have a lot of different links that will take you to things that are factual and that are scholarly. So kind of like journals, things that are true. So you don't have to worry about getting fake information like Wikipedia sometimes will give you. The reason I say that about Wikipedia is, and I'm going to flip myself around. Here I am. The reason I say that about Wikipedia is because they do offer you the opportunity to go in there, and I could go in right now and just change information if I wanted to. I can tell you that I saw Abraham Lincoln last week. He was wearing a tie and he was wearing blue jeans. And, you know, most of us know that those are not factual. That is not factual information, right? Like we know that, you know, especially if we're older and whatnot. But if you're fresh into college, fresh into high school, fresh into middle school, maybe even elementary school level, and you're in there and you're researching and you're like, oh, this big article on Abraham Lincoln and I'm ready. And you get in there and you start reading it and you're like, wow, I didn't know that Abraham Lincoln wore jeans, you know, things like that. So that's why you want to kind of stay away from internet websites that are not factual. So I'm going to go ahead and put our library's website on here for you. in case you'd like to check it out. I'm having a time here, trying to type. So that's going to be our website. So you're able to get on our website and just kind of take a look around at things and see what is going to benefit you the most. On Saturday, we actually had a virtual live session as well. And we basically talked about comparing products. So if you're in the market for a computer, a tablet, a smartphone, anything along those lines, we talked about comparing those and what's better than something else and how do I know what kind to use. So if you didn't get the opportunity to tune in on Saturday when we had our live session then I would recommend you go back on the channel here and go back and watch that if you're wanting to know a little bit more about purchasing equipment for yourself. Something else that's offered here at the library that isn't promoted a whole lot, and I'm working on getting that promoted, is weekly lessons online. This is a free service that's available to you from the library. It doesn't cost you any money. Basically, you just say, hey, I'd like to get lessons. If you have something specific that you would like to get lessons in, we can work off of that. Or if you're just not really sure, you just know that you want to learn more about basic computers. Maybe you want to learn more about Microsoft Office software. Maybe you're in the job field right now and you're wanting to know more about how do I job search? What about a resume? What are good tips for interviewing process? Anything computer technology related, I offer weekly sessions. These are free. They don't cost you anything. And all you have to do to get started is email me. Email me with your email. I'm going to send you out an assessment that you can take that tells me what you know, what you don't know, or at least what you think you know, or things that you're just not really sure about. So you're going to fill that out and you're going to let me know that you filled it out. I'm going to go print that and I'm going to look off of it, and then I'm going to get in contact with you and let you know it's been received. And I'm going to give you your I'm going to start you with your weekly lesson. So if you send it to me right now, I would be able to start sending you weekly lessons tomorrow. Currently, and I'll show you, this is my folder of all of my online people that I'm working with. And you can see that I have a lot of them. Ooh, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 people right now that I'm working with online for weekly emailed online sessions. And I will also send you videos, handouts, tutorials, typing lessons, anything we need for our lesson. So all you have to do is email me, and I'm going to type this in for you. Email me at bgaff@ppl.lib.in.us. So you're going to email me at that email, and let me know what you want to learn, basically. So, how to learn typing without seeing on board. Do you mean without looking at the keyboard? Is that what you mean? Without looking? Because that is a process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. As a matter of fact, I actually encourage my students to poke and peck for a little bit, just so you can kind of familiarize yourself with where the placement of the keys are on the keyboard. Now, with that being said, one nice thing that they've done for us was back in the day when we took our little keyboarding typewriting lessons, They have left our letters exactly where they were when we were taking those back in the day. So the only thing they've done differently now is they've added more to it, is all they've done. So yes, it is extremely possible for you to be able to get to the point where you're do and you don't need to look at the keyboard. I still look at the keyboard from time to time, especially if I just keep making error after error after error. That means my hands aren't placed in the right place to get to those letters a little easier for myself. So sometimes I think my brain goes a little faster than my hands, and or vice versa. My hands are going faster than my brain. So then I have to go back and fix everything, and yeah. So that is something that comes in time. But I would start you out with keyboarding lessons where you're learning where the placement of your fingers are and what fingers start to grab what letters from the home row area. So eventually, the more that you do it, and I know we've probably heard this saying quite a few times in our lifetime, it's like riding a bike. As long if you do it or you're learning to do it, you just keep doing it until it happens. So practice makes perfect, right? So the more that you do something, the more you're going to become familiar with the keyboard itself. All right. So we can start that with you on lessons. Not a problem. A lot of people like lessons on their operating system. An operating system would be like Windows 10, Windows 8.1, Windows 7. A lot of people we still have computers around here that are on Windows 7. So we need to get those upgraded. But knowing your operating system is a really good thing, so you know what it exactly, everything that your computer can do for you. All right. So if you're not sure if you have Windows 10, Windows 7, or Windows 8.1, let me pull it up. I actually just did a handout today that I sent to somebody in regards to operating systems because they weren't sure what they had. And that helps me help you a little bit more knowing what I'm working with. So there are some differences. So as soon as this comes up, here we go. I'm going to flip us. All right, so this is all about the operating systems. So you have Windows 10, Windows 8, Windows 7. Now there is Windows XP and Windows 98, but quite honestly, they're obsolete now, which means they're no longer available. They're not something that you can get updates for, nothing along those lines. So if you have those and they're still working, you basically are going to just have to deal with what you have. You can't update those or fix them. But if you're working with some of the others, like Windows 7 can be updated to 10, Windows 8 can be updated to 10, and Windows 10 obviously is what we're working with right now. So if you don't know, this is what Windows 10 looks like. And if you push the start button, you're going to see, and I've given you an arrow, that's your start button down there in the corner. You should see these tiles come up. And by tiles, I mean these squares. If you can see all these squares come up when you push this start button, then you're working off of Windows 10. Okay, these little squares are called tiles. All right. This is what Windows 8 looks like. Most people that had Windows 8 have already upgraded to Windows 10. It was something free that it was offered back in the day. Like I say the day, within probably the last 2-3 years, they allowed you to go, maybe even a little longer than that. They allowed you to update Windows 8 to Windows 10, no problem. Now you don't have a start corner in Windows 8. But you do start to get introduced to those tiles that I was telling you about on Windows 10. And then, of course, Windows 7. So this is what Windows 7 looks like. We do still have that start menu down here in the corner. However, it's a circle. And if I pushed that, it would just give me a menu. It's not going to actually give me those tiles. So those are your 3 primary different operating systems that flip around, that you would be working with are Windows 10, Windows 8, and Windows 7. And I'm familiar with all of those. So if you have questions, specific questions about your about your operating system, then I would be able to assist you with that. I'd be able to assist you with XP as well as 98, but they're obsolete. So that means that you can't get updates for them. What you have now is what you got, and you're not going to get any better than that unless you get a new computer. So there's no point in really going over that. Let me get back in. Okay, so the control panel in Windows 10 allows you to do numerous things. It's really very similar to any of the other control panels that you've used, perhaps used, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. Your control panel really hasn't changed all that much. I'm working off of Windows 10 right now. So let me flip us. So because I'm working off of Windows 10, let me move my fan. I've got my little start menu down here. So if I press this is what I was talking about, and I'll get back to your question. But now I have all these tiles. And that's what I was talking about. Now, I do have this little search bar down here. This little search bar down here is called Cortana. Cortana is your friend. Cortana will search the internet for you. Cortana will search your computer for you. Cortana will search for anything that you, so let's say that you saved a file on your computer and you just can't remember where you put it. Now, you're going to want to try to remember what you named it when you saved the file, but you can't remember where you put it. You can actually come right down here into this search field and let me think of something that it can look up. I'll look up Tech Talk and see. And it's now going to search whatever I'm asking it. See what I mean about the typing? So now anything that has Tech Talk involved, it has found on my computer. Now let's say I want to look up John Deere tractors. And now they have a web search because it's not really a file I'm looking for. So from here, I'd be able to actually search the web. So this is Cortana down here. So from here, I can type in control panel. That was the whole point of me showing you this. The control panel. There's my control panel. I'm going to push that. And then it's going to pull up my control panel. Now, you can clearly see if you've ever worked with Windows 7, Windows 8, this looks exactly the same. Okay, now in the control panel, you're able to set up your security, connect yourself to internet, add devices, uninstall programs, any kind of account settings you have, appearance, which would be your wallpapers, like you just saw a picture of my animal, that's an appearance. If I need to change my clocks, anything like that is what's going to be in your control panel. So this is where you would go if you needed to uninstall a program. You would push on that, and it's now going to list all of the programs in your computer. So if there's a program on there that you no longer want to be on there, here's where you can remove it. Now, keep in mind, and I'm going to flip us around, keep in mind that when you do that, you don't want to get rid of anything that either is the name of your computer. So for instance, I'm working with an HP computer right now. I wouldn't want to get rid of any files that have HP in them. I have Microsoft on here as software, Microsoft Windows, to get me going. So obviously I wouldn't want to get rid of anything that says Microsoft. Now, if you are upgrading your Office suite, which is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and so forth and so on, you may have to remove the old program to put the new program on. And your computer would tell you that. It would let you know there's a conflict, I can't help you. You've already got this. If you want the newest, you're going to have to get rid of this first. And that goes the same thing with antiviruses. which help protect your computer and keep it safe from any kind of viruses that could possibly come through. So if you're trying, let's say you have a specific kind of antivirus, let's say it's McAfee. There's several different kinds. But now you want Norton. So you're trying to install Norton. It's going to probably kick it back and it's going to say, I can't do this. You already have something. Something's got to go. Either I have to go or the old program has to go, but you can't have us both. All right. So that would be the exception to the Microsoft thing that I was saying. And it's clearly listed on there as Microsoft either 365 or 2010, 2016. It just depends on which version you're using of what you would want to take out. And you would see it listed there. It would be very, very plain sighted for you. All right, let's go back in here. Hopefully that helped you with the control panel. I don't know if you had a specific question about the control panel, but that's where you access all your settings, all your appearances, your programming, your networking, getting connected. That's all done through the control panel. Okay, let's see. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look up some techie tips if we could. Let's see what we got. And so last time we talked about buying computers and how do I know which one I want to buy. And today we talked briefly about that, but you would want to go back and watch that if let me go back to my Tom's Guide. Tom's Guide's pretty neat. Let me put this up for you. If you were not a part of our stuff last time, I was able to put this up. And this is Tom's Guide. He's got a lot of different techie tips in there that you can use. So let me go in here and see what I can find that might help us today. And again, if you have any particular techie questions, please feel free to ask and I will address those. Let's see. I had stuff up and I don't know what happened. It's not on here now. So, one question that I got here recently that I thought maybe we would talk a little bit about is what's the difference between software and hardware? So, hardware is actually components that are in your computer already. So, your DVD drive is hardware. Your all of the little pieces and such inside of your computer that are actual physical pieces is all hardware in there. Software would be programs that you put onto the computer. So I might use my DVD drive to put the software on, or I can actually probably just access a link from the internet and download that software right onto my computer. So Microsoft Office is a software. So Microsoft Word, Excel, all of those items are software items, whereas my hard drive, my DVD drive, my sound card, all of those are hardware. So if you didn't know the difference between hardware and software, you do now. So, sorry, I'm getting these little messages popping up. All right. Let's see what we can find on here that is going to help us. Anybody out there got questions, technology questions? And again, don't forget the weekly lessons that we can do. I'm just looking for something we can talk about. Social media. What about social media? You're on social media right now. If you're watching this through YouTube, YouTube is social media. And let's talk about YouTube. Why not, right? Okay. YouTube is probably one of the most valuable resources that that you can possibly have. Let me Google that actually. Hang on a minute. So YouTube is one of the most valuable resources that you can possibly have, okay? And the reason I tell you that is because it's not only good for all this tech help we're doing today, but it's really good for anything really that you want to learn. So for all us gals out there, and I'm not stereotyping at all, some of us are very, very good with our hands as far as mechanically, and some of us are not. So if you use YouTube, you would be able to find videos to help you get along with that kind of stuff. YouTube is a part of Google. So Google owns YouTube. So if you have a Gmail account, wait a minute. Oh, that was 19. If you have a Gmail account, now you are open to the entire world of Google. So that means that you would be able to create yourself a channel on YouTube, post your videos, especially if you're still in quarantine or you're home more often. You'd be able to create a channel. You can look up how to fix your dishwasher. You can look up how to make chocolate chip cookies in 15 different ways. You can look up how to use Windows 10 control panel, how to use Windows 7 control panel, whatever you're trying to learn. Answer to your question, for the top 10 most popular programming languages right now, it looks like JavaScript is at the top. Actually, Python is at the top right now. From what I'm seeing, it's top 10 popular programming languages in 2020. Let me flip ya. I'm just answering this question. Here's your top 10 most popular programming languages in 2020. So you got Python, JavaScript, Java, and so forth. So hopefully that helps and answers your question that you had about computer languages. So Python seems to be taking the lead over Java, which really doesn't surprise me. So, but back to YouTube. We have a stream channel. So if you're watching this right now, then you're obviously a part of my stream channel. So you would be, and you can watch music videos. You can watch movies, shows. Now, YouTube is internet based, which means you do have to have the internet in order to access YouTube. So now, I do believe that they have different kinds of subscriptions now. If you wanted to do streaming on there, which would probably and possibly allow you to download them, kind of like a Netflix in a sense. But that I'm not 100% sure about. I do know that you can subscribe as a channel user and watch more stuff if you pay in or something. They've changed a lot of the features, but just to browse on YouTube and look up videos costs you $0. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. So you would be able to look them up and figure out. I really do encourage people, especially my weekly people that I work with, my one-on-one appointments I have that come in or come to the mobile lab locations. I always get on YouTube to show them videos to help them get along with certain things. And typically a lot of those videos are 5 minutes or less. So it's not taking up a lot of your time to research and find out what you want to know. Learning a computer language is slightly challenging. A lot of it involves coding, being able to HTML code, knowing the differences in the codes when you put them in. So Python's a little bit more extreme as far as that goes. If that's something that you're wanting to learn more about, we could definitely, I could definitely find you some lessons or videos to help you get along with learning that language a little bit more and how you can access it and make it, and utilize it the way that you want to be able to utilize it. So not everybody knows about programming languages, so I'm really impressed with that question, and I'm very glad that you asked it, and I would be more than happy to help you. We can fumble through it together. I don't use Python on a regular basis, but I can learn it just like anyone else, I'm sure. So we can make it happen. So, all right, let's go back and see. That's what's trending. Oh, and by the way, Python is trending at 31%, where Java is at 16. So that's pretty big, actually. I'm gonna get a drink of water. Sometimes when I talk too much, my throat starts to hurt. Okay. Let's see what we can find that is... Okay, so another question that I had here recently is backups. What's the point? Why do I need to do it? Do I have to do it? And quite honestly, backups are really a personal choice. Yes, it's probably a good idea to do backups. Just for the mere fact that if something would happen to your computer and it would crash and you needed to reboot it back to factory settings or something along those lines, sorry. Then you would be able to take yourself back to the last saved point on the computer. So you may not lose, you may not lose all of your information by backing it up. Now, with that being said, backups tend to take up quite a bit of space. Another good question. Backups tend to take up quite a bit of space. So you're basically making a backup. You basically have two of your computer on your computer when you do a backup. So it's basically a safety measure. So you're able to retrieve that information if something would happen to your computer. It's only going to be valuable to you if you're using the same computer. Now, you could do a backup onto disks, which if you have a computer that's somewhat compatible with the one you have, you could very well maybe get those items back on the new computer. But again, I look at it more as it's a personal choice. People back up their phones, they back up their tablets, they back up, a lot of people just don't want to take a chance of losing their materials, their items. They just don't want to. It's very vital to them and very important to them. Nothing I do really is that important or vital to me, so I don't normally do the backups. But to some of you, it could mean a matter of life and death kind of thing, where I can't lose this file. It contains my entire world in it. So that's what your backups would be good for. An external hard drive. I have one right here. This is an external hard drive. And yes, this is whiteout that I labeled with an L, so I knew it was for the library. External hard drive. You can buy these to go up to 2 terabytes, maybe even more. I'm sure you can get external hard drives that are way, way, way up there. Just to tell you what kind of spacing you're looking at, 1 terabyte is 500 gigs. Okay, so 500 gigs is a lot. It's a lot of memory. So times that by 2, and now you have a terabyte. They also make those in flash drives. This is a 2 terabyte flash drive, which would work exactly the same way as this guy. So it just depends on whether I want to, and this came with a key ring. But it just depends on, do I want to, and this isn't big by any means, very thin, but do I want to lug this around everywhere I go? Or would I rather just keep this? Now, if you keep it on a key ring, you want to be careful, because I've already lost one of these. The 2 terabytes, that's a lot of memory. So you don't want to lose it. So make sure you put it somewhere safe. But basically how you use it is it's going to come, this particular one is going to come with its own cord. I'm going to plug that into my USB port. And then the other end has USBs as well. So then I would just plug this into my computer, and it's going to pull it up as a USB device. So I'll show you. I will show you. I'm going to flip you around. Okay. Oh, sorry, I have this on. I wanted to make sure I could see this. All right, so I am taking my external device, and I'm going to use the shorter end here. Well, no, I won't. I'll use the longer one. I'm going to unplug my phone. And now I'm going to plug that in. Now, when I plug it in, my red light starts to come on. Oh, I plugged in the wrong one. Sorry. I do have to use the shorter one. These ports are not my friend today. There we go. Okay. So once I did that, it's hard to see. Oh, there we go. But my red light comes on. That's just indicating that it's working. And typically this is not a very good one. It's sometimes will work, sometimes will not work. It depends, really. Let me get rid of this cord that's kind of flopping around. All right. So here's my drive, and it's plugged in. Normally when you do that, it will automatically pull up. Let me see if it's connected, because normally, and it isn't, normally it'll automatically pull up a box that says, hey. But this one doesn't really like to work very well sometimes. So I've had it a really long time. So let me plug in the other one, which is my flash drive. There we go. Now this should pull there. It automatically recognized that. So I could come over here and I could push that, but I'm gonna, oh, it opened it. Okay. So these are all the contents that are on that, and I can find it by coming over here, and now it's showing me that I have something plugged into my USB drive. If I unplug that, it goes away. And if I plug it in, it tells me something's plugged in, which I could come down here and click on that. I'm going to continue without scanning, and those are the contents that are in my flash drive, which is an external hard drive. Something else you can use are cards, SD cards. These are external storage devices as well. A lot of your computers these days actually come with the little SD card slot. Mine does not, so I have this little adapter. I'm able to plug that into my adapter, which then plugs into my computer. Silly ports. And I'm probably going to get a box, and I did. I can either click this or wait, and it'll pop up. And it's asking me, do I want to open it? I do. There's nothing in this. but if there was, DCIM is going to be all of my pictures, any kind of pictures I might have on it. So if I double click on that, photos, oh, there is an image in here. I'm not going to open it because I don't know what it is. But then I have my video as well. So if there's any videos in there, they would be listed as well. And you can buy these cards and, let me flip us. There we go. You can buy those cards in all kinds of memory. So that one's a 64 gig. You can get those up to, sky's the limit, quite honestly. So those are 3 different types of external hard drives that you can use. I wish I could have gotten this to come up, but it is old. I ended up transferring everything off of this onto this because it didn't want to cooperate with me very well. But they're not all like that. I probably just went on the cheaper end. You do get what you pay for when it comes to electronics. How many ways the internet can be connected? Well, there's several ways you can connect to an internet. So one way would be, obviously, if you have a modem or a router, which is a little box from your internet provider, then you would be able to use a cord from that, which is called an Ethernet, and that hooks right into the back of your computer, and you're hardwired in then. That's what hardwired in means. Or you can go wireless, which a lot of those routers, you can be hardwired in and wireless. How much time we got? We got 10 minutes. We're good. So wirelessly allows you to be a little bit more mobile. A lot of your smart TVs these days have wireless capability. So then you'd be able to connect to your router box that you get from your internet provider and be able to stream your Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, whatever you're using. You can also, if you have a TV that has the Ethernet port, you could hardwire it in. Most people don't. Most people use the Wi-Fi. I don't know if I've ever seen a TV that has an Ethernet port, but I'm not gonna say it doesn't happen because I'm sure it does. Another way would be through a hotspot, and there's several ways to get that. So if you have a service provider, so service provider would be like your AT&T, your Verizon, your Cricket, your T-Mobile, your Sprint. There's tons of different service providers out there. They offer you a little box, which is about, I don't have one in here, but it's about the size of this, maybe even half this size. It's probably, it's probably about half this size. My little thing came up and told me my battery was almost dead. But it is a service that you pay for. So when you get the hotspot, it's already going to have internet on it from AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, whoever. And you're paying that monthly fee for it. What that does is it releases internet. So when it releases the internet, now I can have other devices connected to it. My phone, my tablet, my TV, my printer, anything like that that can connect wirelessly can be connected to my hotspot. My phone can be a hotspot. A lot of your service providers offer you not only data, unlimited data, calling, texting, but they also offer you a hotspot. And the hotspot on there would just be whatever my service provider gives us 50 gigs of hotspot per person. And I have several people on my plan. So each one of us has our own hotspot, which means when I do the mobile lab locations, which is me taking the library on the road, and I go to Burger King, or I go to the coffee shop, or I go here, or I go there. Sometimes I don't always want to buy something. Sometimes I just want to sit there and work on my computer. I can actually turn the hotspot on from my phone and connect my computer to it. So then I'm using the internet that's through my service provider. So there's about 3, 4, 5 different ways that you can actually get yourself connected to internet if you needed to. A lot of your local libraries will offer a hotspot service for you. Our library does offer it. I think we're limited on how many hotspots we actually have for people to use. However, It's definitely something to look into if you don't have internet at home, or if you're in one of those areas where it's a little bit more difficult for you to have internet. So it's a good question. All your questions have been good. I see we got 3 on here. Has anybody else got questions? And you can keep your questions coming too. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit for just a second with the 7 minutes that we have left today with our tech talk. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about Bluetooth. Not everybody knows what Bluetooth is. So I want to make sure that we kind of talk about, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate the questions. I would much rather sit here and answer your questions than to babble for an hour over stuff you may not even care about. So I appreciate your questions. I forget what I was saying. What was I saying? I was talking about something. How to care for your computer. That's a good one. See, you're on a roll tonight. One thing, okay, so there are certain people that I meet with on an occasion where they are very, very, they don't like to take chances. And what I mean by that is when I open up their computer and we get it turned on and the internet finally gets going, they have, and I don't know if you know what tabs are, so I'm going to flip you around. Here, these are tabs at the top. So you have a lot of different tabs. And you can have, see that little plus sign there? You can have, I can't see, let me get my mouse up here. You can have as many tabs as memory that your computer has, okay? So every time I meet with them, they have probably, I don't know. I think at one point I counted 25 tabs open. And they look at me and they say, my computer's running slow. Do you know why? Yes, I do. The reason your computer's running slow is because you have 25 tabs open. They're all running. They're all waiting for you to do something with them. That's going to slow your computer down. Not only is it going to slow your computer down, but that is a lot that you're asking the computer to do at one time. Computers typically can last you, it depends on what you're doing. If all you're doing is checking your email, getting on the internet every now and then, you're not streaming, you're not downloading, you're not doing anything like that, a computer can last you a long time. But if you're downloading lectures and you're taking voice recordings and putting them on your computer, you're streaming a ton, you're overworking that processor. It's meant to work. But if we start to overwork it, that can really kill the life on our computer. Because you're making it work so hard. So, things you can do to kind of help yourself is go through and delete some of your history, your cookies, your caches, anything that allows the computer to go. Sorry, I've been talking too long. It's my time to go. Yeah, so clean out your history, your temporary files. And let me show you how. So we're going to flip you around. So you have file folders everywhere you look. Okay, it doesn't matter what I'm on. It doesn't matter what they're labeled. File folder, file folder, file folder, file folder, file folder, file folder. If I pull up a file folder, they're all going to do the same thing. Let me pull up this one over here. See? They're all giving me those same options. See how they're the same? Okay. Now, down here on the side, I have a network. Actually, we're going to go to this PC. And we're going to go to the C drive. Right click is your friend. Okay. We're going to talk about right click on our next Tech Talk Live. Right click is your friend. So if you're not using right click, you need to be. Its only job is to give you a menu. So I'm going to right click on my C drive. I'm on my, oh, that's the wrong drive. My C drive. And I'm going to come down here to properties. From here, I am able to do a disk cleanup. If I push on disk cleanup, it's now going to scan my computer for anything it notices that I may not be using, things I can get rid of. Maybe my recycle bin, my trash is full, any kind of temporary files, things that I haven't used. Sometimes this could take some time. And I'm going to flip us back around, and if it pops back up while we're still on here, then I will show you what to do from there. Because it's right now, it's scanning my computer, and it's deciding, okay, you don't really use this that much. The last time you were on this was this time. Now, you want to be careful, though, when you clean some of that stuff out, because if you have set it up to keep your passwords in there, if you go in and you start deleting temporary file, okay, here we go. It's up. So it's done. This is what it came up with. And it's telling me exactly how much space I can free up, really. Look at that recycle bin. 48.5 gigs. That's a lot. Downloads. Now, if I click on my temporary files, some of these may delete my passwords. So if you have passwords that are saved in there, you want to be careful, because if you haven't written them down and you're relying on your computer to log you in every single time, it's very possible that it will not do that. You can go in and view the files, or you can just clean up your system now. So I push the cleanup. Oh, well, when you are on yours, let me get logged into that. When you are on yours at home, oh, here we are. Here we are. When you are on yours at home, there we go. It's not going to make you do that. It's not going to make you log in. It's because I'm at work right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself logged in. Okay. Oh. Just a second. My computer is being difficult. And we're in, anyways, your computer won't make you do silly logins like that. Okay, here we go. So I've got myself logged in, and now it's doing that disk cleanup for myself. Okay. Once you're done with that, that is something that you should probably get in the habit of doing, possibly maybe like once a month, or anytime you start noticing that your computer is running slow. This is something that you can do that will help you out with that. The temporary files, getting rid of that recycle bin, and things along those lines. So I hope that was helpful as far as if that's what you meant about caring for your computer. Obviously, you don't want to get water on it or sand or anything like that. But as far as cleaning it up, making it run faster, making it run smoother, that is something that you can do, is deleting your history, deleting the cookies, the temporary files, your recycle bin, and all of that stuff. And you can do all of it from your C drive. You can also do a defragmenting. That is a process. It does take quite some time, where it starts to pick pieces apart on the computer and gets rid of some of those things that you don't really need. So those are definitely some tips. Our time is up today, you guys. I had a great time. Like, I am so excited that I had questions, and I got 5 of you in here at one time. That's exciting for me, because normally I just sit here for an hour and talk to myself. So I'm really, really happy that all of you guys were able to come in. If you didn't get to watch this, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And write down questions for next time. Our next time for Tech Talk Live is Tuesday, October 6th, and that's from 6 to 7, like we did tonight. Normally I do it on a Tuesday night, and I do it on a Saturday. But what's nice about these Tech Talks is that you can always go back and watch it later. So if you didn't get to see everything from the beginning, you can pick it back up and watch it later. So thank you so much for all of you being here today. I really hope things that I said were helpful to you. If you want to get started on those weekly lessons that are free to you from me, just send me an email and we can get started. Also, you can go, bye, thanks. Also, you can go to our website, which I've included in there for you. And I'm going to put that assessment link on there. So if it's not, I thought it was there, but I am thinking maybe now it isn't. But you can take that assessment there as well. Just shoot me an email and let me know you've taken it, because I don't check it every day. And then I'll get it printed and we will get you going. Hey, thanks everybody. I hope I was able to help with our tech help and our tech talk today. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for being a part of it. Bye.